All right, today we're cracking open a piece of software that's, well, legendary. It's an absolutely essential tool for anyone who's curious about the hidden architecture of the internet. Think about it for a second. Every single time you go to a website or use an online service, you're basically walking into a huge digital building. But how do you actually see the blueprint for that building? How do you figure out which doors are open, which are locked, and maybe more importantly, which ones are guarded? Well, that's what we're diving into. We're going to look at a tool that does all of that and so much more. It's really not just a program, it's more like a complete detective's kit for the digital world. So, yeah, let's pop it open and see what we've got. Okay, so to really get what makes Nmap so special, you've got to understand where it came from. This is not some polished piece of corporate software. Nope. This is a true legend, born right out of the classic hacker scene. You heard that right, 1997. Nmap's big debut was in Frack magazine. I mean, that's an iconic name in early cyberculture. Its creator, Gordon Lyon, or Fyodor as he's known, just released it to the world. And it blew up. It suddenly gave people the power to map out networks in a way that was honestly just unheard of at the time. So what is it really? Well, Nmap stands for Network Mapper, and at its heart, it's pretty simple. It's a tool that lets you send out these tiny little digital messages, we call them packets, to some other computer. Then it just listens. Based on the replies it gets back, or even the lack of a reply, it starts to draw a super detailed map of that system and the whole network around it. All right, let's put on our detective hat. You've just arrived at the scene of the crime, the digital crime scene. What's the absolute first thing you do? Right, you gotta case the joint. Figure out who's even here. I mean, before you start checking for unlocked windows, you need to know if anyone's even home, right? In the digital world, we call this host discovery. Nmap's first job is just to see which computers on a network are actually turned on and listening. And the easiest way to do that? With something called a ping. It's basically the digital version of yelling hello into a dark room. If a computer is online, it'll send a little hello right back. And just like that, with that one simple echo, our detective knows they've got a live target. Now the real investigation can start. Okay, so we know someone's home. What's next? Well, our detective is going to start checking the doors and windows, looking for a way in. In the network world, we call these ports. Now, Nmap is smart. It doesn't just go and try every single door on the building. That would take forever. Instead, by default, it just focuses on the 1,000 most common ones. The front doors, the back doors, the windows people usually leave open. These are the places where services are most likely to be running. And that really puts things into perspective, doesn't it? Nmap starts with the top 1,000, but any given computer has, get this, over 65,000 possible doors. That's a huge number. And that's exactly why having a tool that can check them intelligently is so important. So as Nmap is checking all these doors, it puts each one into one of three buckets. If a port is open, that's like an unlocked door. There's a service on the other side just waiting for someone to connect. If it's closed, that's a locked door. The system hears you knock, but basically says, nope, nothing here. But filtered, that's the interesting one. That's a guarded door. There's a firewall standing in the way, so Nmap can't even tell if the door behind it is open or locked. Super mysterious. Okay, but here's the thing. A bad detective makes a ton of noise and trips all the alarms. A great detective, though, they can get in, get the info, and get out, and nobody even knows they were there. And yeah, Nmap has some seriously clever tricks up its sleeve for this. Because think about it, making a racket on a network is a surefire way to get caught. You've got firewalls, intrusion detection systems, all of these digital security guards are just waiting for a clumsy scan to come through. So being stealthy isn't just a cool trick, it's everything. A normal, basic scan is like walking up to the front door and banging on it with your fist. Of course that's going to get logged. But Nmap's default scan, it's much more subtle. It's called a stealth scan. Basically, it starts to knock, but it pulls its hand back before it actually hits the door. It gets the information it needs, is the door locked or not, and then just disappears. It's like gently, silently testing the doorknob to see if it's unlocked. But okay, being quiet is one thing. What if you want to hide in plain sight? What if you want to hide in a crowd? This is where Nmap gets really clever. It's a technique called a decoy scan. Here's how it works. Nmap sends your scan, but at the exact same time, it sends out a whole bunch of fake scans from a bunch of random decoy locations. So to the computer on the other end, it looks like it's being scanned by a huge crowd of people all at once. And your real scan is just lost in the noise. Absolutely brilliant. So up to this point, we've kind of seen Nmap as this amazing map maker. But believe me, that is just scratching the surface. Its real power lies in the rest of the tools in its bag. See, Nmap isn't just one tool, it's a whole suite. You've got NCAT for moving data around, NPing for creating totally custom network messages, even NCrack for testing passwords. And it all comes wrapped up in a nice graphical interface called Nmap if you want it. But the real secret weapon? The one thing that takes Nmap from just being a great scanner to being an unbelievable auditing powerhouse? That's the Nmap scripting engine, the NSE. Somebody once said, it's like having a cyber wizard at your fingertips. And honestly, that's the perfect way to describe it. With the NSE, you can write little scripts to automate pretty much any task you can think of. It stops being a scanner and becomes this dynamic, totally programmable platform. So now with these scripts, Nmap isn't just drawing the map anymore. It's actively investigating everything on it. You can tell it to hunt for specific security holes, find servers that are set up wrong, or dig up even deeper intelligence. Seriously, the possibilities are almost endless. And all of this brings us to one final and maybe the most important point we have to make. Nmap is an incredibly powerful tool. And you know what they say? With great power comes great responsibility. Look, for the good guys, network admins, security pros, or even just students trying to learn, Nmap is absolutely essential. It's an amazing tool for diagnosing problems and securing your own stuff. But, and this is a big but, scanning networks that you don't have explicit permission to scan, well, that can have very real, very serious legal consequences. So here's the takeaway. Nmap is a phenomenal tool for exploration and for defense. Use it, learn with it, secure your own systems with it, but always, always respect those digital boundaries.